Brave Maker Show is hosted by Tony Gappistone and Christina Jackson. Thanks for tuning in. It's showtime.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. We're going to do a special event today. Normally, Christina and I banter back and forth together, but we are going to start and jump right in because we have some very special guests. My name is Tony Gappistone. I'm going to sign my name because I know how to do that. T-O-N-Y. Tony Gappistone. I am the founder and executive director of Brave Maker. I'm a filmmaker and actor myself. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I am a Caucasian man living in Redwood City, California, the Bay Area. And I am always joined by my friend, the fabulous collaborator and producer of my next feature film, Christina Ray Jackson. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Tony. I am Christina Ray Jackson. My pronouns are he, she, they. I am queer and coming to you from Dublin, California. And I'm also a filmmaker and an actor and a comic book writer. And I'm rocking a wild blue fro today with the blue Batman cosplay costume on. And it's wonderful to be here, Tony. And we have a very exciting show with some exciting filmmakers who we will be potentially seeing this summer.
Potentially is, we could say, like, it's confirmed. We are going to be hanging out with the filmmakers of a film called Being Michelle, and that is what we are here to discuss today.
Yes.
And so before we jump in, we have to, filmmakers, we're going to have them introduce themselves and talk about their roles and their journeys. But we, Christina and I, we took 2 weeks off. It was actually a very nice 2 weeks off.
It was.
It was a much needed 2 weeks off before we jump into our film festival, which is just 6 weeks away. And this is the very first promotional podcast leading up to that festival. But before we do our focused conversation today, Christina and I always ask or respond to a question. And that question is, how are you braving your way toward your creative goals? And so if you're watching us live, I see a bunch of you are on live. Please feel free to jump in the comments and say, what's one thing you've done this week to focus on your film, your acting career, your music, the book that you're doing, whatever creative thing you are doing, what have you done to move it forward in one small way? Christina, what have you done this week?
Had a very productive conversation with our animation team. Tony and I shot a music video for a music video that will be premiering hopefully at the film festival. So we had a meeting with the animation team. We are very excited to debut this video. It's one step closer. This is something we've been working on for the better part of a year, maybe over a year. So that's very exciting. That's how I'm braving my way. And May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Tony said we took 2 weeks off. Definitely, I took a beat. I disconnected. I highly recommend it. Disconnect from social media, email, your iPhone. Take a minute to breathe and enjoy nature and enjoy the loved ones you have around you. And that's what I did to brave my way. What about you, Tony?
I spent time with some of my favorite people outside of my family. They're my other family, my chosen family, my Brave Maker family. We hung out yesterday and we went to dinner and we had some very focused meetings on the film festival, but we shot a quick little promo and I want to share it with you all right now.
Oh, you're on.
Truly love these people, and we together are supporting filmmakers like you're going to meet right here. So that's how I was braving my way this week, just making a little thing that took us about an hour to shoot, and then I probably spent 45 minutes finding a song. I just realized I didn't even buy that song. I just had the watermark, so I got to change that. Oh my gosh. But that was really fun. So with that, keep going after your dreams, everybody. Keep following, keep making things happen. Don't give up. It takes time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And I'm sure we're going to hear that very thing about the film we're going to talk about today. So with that, Christina, I will turn it over to you.
With that, welcome the filmmakers from Being Michelle. Welcome Dr. Mae Kennedy. And welcome Atin and Mae. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Thank you. We are excited.
Absolutely. You're excited to be. We're so excited to have you and very excited to be hanging out with you later on this summer at the film festival. That is July 7th through the 11th. But let's jump in. I'm a huge comic book fan. I'm in comic book world. I got to approve a couple of colored pages this week. So let's start with origin stories. Let's start with Dr. Mae Kennedy. We would love to know, well, introduce yourself. Let's get a visual description. And where were you born and raised? How has your journey uniquely prepared you for the work you're doing today? I know it's a lot.
Hi, everyone. Yes, so I am Dr. Mae Kennedy. I am the social impact advisor for this film. My description is Ameri-Asian. I'm an Ameri-Asian female with long black hair, wearing a brown shirt. And I am deaf, and I'm using sign language. I was born and raised in Maryland. I was born in a deaf family. My parents are deaf, and I have a deaf brother. I grew up in Maryland, and I moved to Austin, Texas, where I am currently. I've been here over 15 years. I guess as far as background, I am in instructional technology. My PhD is in instructional technology, and somehow along the way, a colleague of mine led me to this film. It was through a colleague who I had worked with previously, and that is how I got involved with the film. When I first watched the film, it really blew my mind how much this story aligned with my personal experience. Reason being is my son has autism, and this film is about a deaf autistic woman. And my father, as I said, is also deaf, and he served in federal prison for 7.5 years. And I've seen firsthand the challenges that he faced and the oppression that he faced, and the two journeys really aligned, and I was just so honored to be a part of this film.
Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to throw the question over to Atin. Where were you born and raised? How has your journey uniquely prepared you for the work you're doing? And yeah, you guys can decide who wants to go first. They are together in this video chat today.
Well, my name is Atin, and I'm Indian. I was born and raised in a small town, not as very small, but it's a place called Varanasi. It's one of the oldest living city on the earth, and and I pronounce he, him, and his, him, and he. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. Growing up in India, and I was born in a rich family, but then we lost all the money and stuff, and I fall in love with the street kids, and I grew up around street with the street kid as a you can call tourist guide, or I did so many things, and struggle through the young age trying to find what I want in my life, and I came across with the blessing of universe that some friend photographer, and other filmmakers, and they basically, I don't know how to, take photos and stuff, but they are the one taught me a little bit, and I start taking photos, and they told me that they go to school and college for photography, but I never went, and they said, your photo is much more better than mine, so you should continue doing it. But still, I didn't know what photography mean. I was just taking photos, like I didn't have a sense of university standard or college standard compositions or frame or lighting and stuff. I just did what I think I feel like as a filmmaker, especially as an artist, I think I was forced to become artist. I don't know if I was artist before, but I think the one thing that if you have a hardship and tough experience, your natural become, I think, as soon as you get art into your hand, then it really helps you to understand the world, because you went through those process. You learn how people react or cry or go through tough time because you went through the same time. So yeah, and I think that was the one thing drove me, that I just want to tell a story, because I think this story has uh, there's so many, like everyone has a story, but then there's so many stories like me and Michelle. Like Michelle, if we don't bring that out to the world will never know about them, and that story basically is, it's lost. So I think as a filmmakers and artists, we have responsibility to share these stories to the world, and then world has to decide what they want to do with that.
Oh, I love that.
I am, yes, and amening you all over
Yes.
here, Atin. You're speaking our language. It's great. Thank
Atin
you.
is speaking our language. Absolutely. Definitely. We have all been brought here together because we are artists, and many of us have experienced challenge and struggle. I usually include it in my visual description, but I'm not in my power chair today. I am a quadriplegic. I was paralyzed at 19. I definitely utilize art and enjoy art as an outlet to share my story and my journey and my struggles with others. That's really what helped me resonate with Michelle's story. It's so incredible. So yes, thank you. And now we are going to throw the question to Mae. Please introduce yourself, give us a description, and tell us where you were born and raised. How has your journey uniquely prepared you for the work you're doing today?
So my name is Mae. I'm a white woman with brown hair. It's pulled back in a bun. I have a black t-shirt on and some little round earrings. I was born in a small town in southern Colorado called Westcliff. It sits in a beautiful mountain valley, and we lived there. I have an older brother and a younger sister. We lived there till I was about 7, and we started moving around the United States, lived in a number of different places. And starting at that age, I think, and having the experience of living in places where culture was very different, or, I've been through a whole gamut of different types of schools. It just kind of from a young age made me able to connect with people from a variety of backgrounds. And I really love connecting with people from all over. Ultimately, in college, I ended up studying abroad in India. And I lived in Varanasi for about a year. Halfway through my time there, I met Atin, and that was the beginning of our relationship. We're married, and we make films together. We've been working together as filmmakers quite a number of years. We have another project we've been working on for a very long time. But Being Michelle is our first completed film. I am a producer on the film, and Atin and I work very closely. Independent filmmaking is a long, challenging, and amazingly beautiful journey. And one of my favorite things about it is pulling together the team that we work with, because ultimately we can't do this alone. We have an amazing team that we're working with. So I'll stop there for now. We're so excited to be here.
Kudos to filmmaking duos and the finding the right team and then marrying part of that team. That's beautiful. Congratulations.
Beautiful, yeah.
On that. If you're just joining in, my name is Tony Gapastone, and I'm talking with Christina Jackson, my co-host with the team behind the film Being Michelle. You can find them on Instagram at Being Michelle Film. That's their handle, at Being Michelle Film. You can also find them on the web at beingmichelle.com, and they are an official selection of the Brave Maker Film Festival. We are going to watch a 45-second teaser trailer about this film, and we're going to encourage you to come and meet them and see the film in person on July 9th. That's a Saturday. The film festival starts July 7th. Their film is screening on Saturday, July 9th. And we're just beyond excited to share this film with our Redwood City audiences. It is truly a film that will open up your eyes on many different subjects to create empathy for how we need to embrace people of all abilities, but also looking at our justice system and what happens to people who are incarcerated. And when we don't provide needed things for people like Michelle, who did not have an interpreter, a deaf autistic woman who didn't have an interpreter for 5 years as she was incarcerated. So we're going to share this 45-second trailer with you, and then we're going to come back and we're going to hear about the making of this film. I love that, Mae, you said it was a wonderful and beautiful creation, and I know you left a lot of other descriptive words out of there, I'm sure, because making films are such a sacrifice, a wonderful and beautiful sacrifice that takes a lot of time, energy, and money, sweat, blood, and tears. But we know it's so worth it to birth a story, and literally in this story, is such a beautiful story. So here we go. We're going to share the trailer with you all.
She's terrified of police officers.
You want to take your jacket off because you're hot?
Are you hot? And she won't talk. She's dead.
Oh, she is?
I can't even conceive of not being able to hear and not being able to talk in Florida State Prison.
beingmichelle.com. Check it out. Learn more about the film and the filmmakers. Well, let's jump right in. So first of all, how did you find Michelle? How did you come across this beautiful person? And what an artist she is, by the way. I have some big dreams about doing. We already have a few artists who will be exhibiting their work at some of our venues. So we're also looking for artists. We of all abilities, we have an LGBT artist on our opening night from Ability Path. Christina will know who that is, one of our partners that works with people of all abilities to help them find life skills and equip them with their jobs. But for July 9th, maybe we can have some Michelle art. I don't know, but we are also looking for artists who would want to partner and show their work in our venues, at the theater lobbies and different things. So reach out to us if that's you. But Atin and Mae, how did you find Michelle? Tell us about the genesis of this documentary.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was first thing, like we were making this another documentary. It's been 13 years. We are trying to finish. We're following the three women for like last 13 years was the hardest thing I ever worked on, and so I was on the work in India, and I came back just, and a friend of mine called me and says, well, I know someone that you really want to make film about. I was like, okay, who's that person is? And he says, her name is Kim. And I say, okay, well, and I said, well, it's very hard to make documentary, and I know you want me to do it, but it's a long process. We don't know how long it's going to take. But he said, let's discuss, because I already bought a ticket. Let's discuss when we are there. So he didn't leave any option. He's also our EP. His name is Rajiv Sangvi. Such an amazing human being and good friend. So we flew, and I met Kim, and I saw Michelle for just a few seconds here. Then she was very shy. She was always hiding behind. And so I saw it, but I didn't know much about her. And we had to go to Panama City to meet Kim's parents, because there was a big, huge hurricane hit, and it was devastating there in Panama. So we went there, and as soon as we arrived, we saw we heard the news that Michelle ran away, and I was like, "What? Who is Michelle, and what? Why she ran away?" So I didn't have any answer. Basically, I just turned on my camera, and we just followed that chase, and it was 18 hours total, until we found her. And that's the part of the film, I'm not going to reveal anything but more. But that was the basically kick. I looked up and I said to universe, I think there's something really powerful and strong about her. And same, like the art was, who she is. And also we looked at each other, and we had this click that, and within few hours we start talking, and I don't know the sign language and stuff, but I think we figure out our own language and we write things, or we text, through communicate through the text messages and the stuff, and and then she just opened up, and it's a the people, we can talk about it so many ways, but what made me and Mae both feel like we need to make this film, it's because who she is and how strong she is and what she went through. Coming from India, like you have this and dream in India, oh, America is the perfect place, everything is great. And when you arrived, and it was a first encounter I had with the deaf community in that way, and it was very shocking and brutal in the same way that how we don't hear this kind of story internationally, even because internationally America image is it's all about dollars, it's all about money, it's all about how great this country is and how powerful army or weapons. It's always about money, not about how people are also struggling in this country, so
caring for the vulnerable, which obviously in this day and time we're seeing that be the case with so many kids who lost their lives yesterday in Austin, Texas.
So so that I feel like that was pretty shocking to us. And then as soon as we start figuring out the numbers and stuff, and we were like, oh wow, there's not only Michelle, there's so many deaf people, disabled people in the prison system. So I think that was the beginning. But I will say we are all here because of Michelle, and I always thanks her, because it's very hard for people to just come and tell their story with the dignity and honesty, and at the same time going back into the trauma. I think what she did is just I'm always grateful, and I think this country should be grateful too that she stepped up, to share her story.
Absolutely. That's a perfect description. I'm so grateful to Michelle for being vulnerable and sharing this story. The disability community is so broad and so colorful, but her story is one that even I had never heard anything like it. I'm familiar with police brutality as a Black person in a wheelchair. I'm very familiar with that. I had no idea about the experience of people who are deaf with autism. And like you said, it was so brutal and so shocking. And it's what we need to be talking about instead of money and material things that don't really matter. We need to get back to how do we support and love the most vulnerable among us, and how do we, start to share that message. So thank you. Yeah, Tony, you were going to say?
Yeah, I wanted to hear about the making of, because it looks like you did a lot of reenactment with Michelle. Like, how powerful and also potentially healing or not could that have been, right? So can you talk us through that as a documentarian filmmaker? There's so many different ways to tell a story, and the fact that you were able to partner with Michelle to reenact some of those things, I thought was a really interesting choice. Tell us about that.
Yeah. No, I think one of the hardest thing we ever shot was in the prison, when she had this black box, and then so Mae and we discussed, and I was like, I don't want her to do that. I don't want her to go into prison and again have those chains and stuff. So I told her that I'm gonna find some actor or someone and not gonna show their face and do all this thing. And she's like, no, this was my story and I want to do it. So the Michelle involvement was as soon as she figured out. I think that's the one thing as a filmmaker we don't value so much, because we are always trapped into so many other things. It's exhausting. But the one thing was the most powerful. As soon as she understood what filmmaking is, she was a part of the camera. She was watching all this shooting. So I started shooting and showing her, because I was living in their property and in RV basically. So I shoot some stuff and I show her, because before she was like, oh, why are you shooting my photo? Why are you taking this and that? As soon as she learned and she saw, and we built that trust between team and her, and our team was only 2 people basically, and then we trained a sound person. Sound girl was the daughter of Kim, so we trained her how to do the sound, and now she's an amazing sound person. So for me it was very important to keep the crew and equipment also very small, and have at same times very high quality images, but we kept it because the reason is it's a trust, and also it's a privacy issues, to respect her space. So.
And I'll just add to that one of the most powerful things in this film and also in our other film that's in progress is the camera itself, and having our team who sits down to truly listen to someone's story. It's like the first step of healing, like giving them the space where they are able to share what they've experienced and be heard and feel heard and be supported. It's really powerful. And then to have her work with us the whole way, with her paintings and, finding other pieces that should come into the story and, various interviews, connecting us. It was, we had a full rough cut that we had put together, and we had worked with a couple interpreters to make an ASL version so that Michelle could watch it as well and give us feedback. Michelle experienced language deprivation from a very young age. And so, she can't read fully, captions and understand what's going on. So we had an ASL version, but even the ASL version, parts of it were hard for her to understand. So we also worked with a deaf interpreter alongside the ASL version to make sure she understood, what the film was. We got her feedback. And it was during that trip that she found her foster mom on Facebook.
That was cool.
So, we shouldn't.
Oh yeah, we're
no spoilers.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. No, but one thing you have to understand, despite whatever happened to her, she's very focused. If you tell her something to do, she will put her soul and heart into that, and she will get it done. Like some of the stuff she found in this film, we were trying everywhere, we couldn't find it, and she went on the internet here, there, and then she found.
Wow.
Yeah, like even like addresses and stuff. It's like 7 years ago, 6 years ago. I don't know how, because she had Google Earth, so she went in Google Earth and found all those addresses basically for us.
She is so remarkable.
Because she was also become very passionate about her own story, and that's something I say as a filmmaker, that this why story is so important, because it's listening someone is one of the most beautiful thing. If we can just sit and listen their story, I think that's what was not happening to her. People, they never give her freedom, they never give her a space, they never respect her space, and also they never sat down. Even her own family, they didn't have time because of other issues. They never sit down with her and just to listen. How's your day, and what you and like how you survived basically through all this years. So I think that really I think that was the key for the building that trust with her, because then she knew that she is in safe hand.
Michelle's passion is what makes, I think, this film so magical, because you do feel like you're seeing something very intimate. You could tell that she's with people that she trusts, that she feels safe in the way that she shared, very difficult aspects of her life in a very generous way. And I thought that was really incredible. I'm curious, Dr. Kennedy, what was your approach to bringing this story to life?
I'm so sorry. The interpreter's video has been freezing up. It's been a bit hard to follow, but could you repeat your question? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. What was your approach to help bring this story to life in a very authentic and passionate way, as Michelle was conveying
I'm
it?
so sorry, still freezing. What was my approach to, and then the video cut out.
Oh, bringing this story to life, bringing Michelle's story to life.
So my experience was definitely meeting with her in person and getting to know her. And when I first met her, I honestly didn't know what to expect, because I did see the movie, but after I met her, oh my goodness, it was discovering just how full of passion, energy, and hope that she had for life, that she really wanted to live her life. Her confidence had increased tenfold. That was something I had not. Yes, can the interpreter see me okay? Am I freezing? No, you're fine. Perfect. So her confidence had increased tenfold even after just watching the movie and meeting her in person. And I wanted to bring her voice out from under the shadows. And so we had discussed some different ideas with the team, how to create more of an impact for this film. One idea was to add educational supplemental materials to the film, using that as a way to continue to push for education, to push for change. But her voice is so important, and it's just, as you said, very important to share that authentically. One thing I wanted to add from earlier, I didn't get a chance to, but art is truly Michelle's medium to express different things, but also to depict her trauma and depict her hope in the same way. Art is a form of communication for her. So my connection with Michelle is seeing that even though there may be things she does not understand, she will ask. She asks questions to gain understanding. She's not afraid to get clarity. She's not afraid to broaden her understanding and to get better. She's just a tremendous, tremendous person. It was just amazing to meet her and be a part of this journey.
Thank you, Dr. Mae Kennedy. I so appreciate the talent of her art too. I mean, it's good art. It's really good art. And those of you who can follow along on the Instagram page, I really encourage you to do that, because you'll see some of that at Being Michelle Film. That's their handle on Instagram. And in the film, you do a really good job of weaving that in together.
Yes, and to add to that, she actually created a piece of art for me, which is incredibly special.
Let's see.
That with now.
Yes. Oh, that's so cool.
Michelle loves cats.
That is so cool.
Yes.
So what could you describe it? Give a physical description. Could you describe that? It looked like it was I forget that we can do it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this painting is in an aqua color with clouds surrounding the subject, with an I love you balloon that a cat is holding. And this is in the style of the 1950s. We can do it. That's a picture of a cat with that outfit on, and then a little girl that is riding on the string of the balloon that says I love you.
And there's one airplane in the top corner flying through the sky.
I love that. And the balloon is
yes.
is the sign of I love you. So the balloon is the sign of I love you. Yes.
Yes, that's correct. Yes,
so
the balloon
cool.
has the sign of I love you. And the airplane is significant because during the film festival, it was her first time getting on a flight in her life. So it was her first flight ever. And I just think that really applies to how brave she is. Again, how brave she was to tell her story, how brave she was to try new things, how brave she is to continue exploring what the world has to offer her. That she did not get that experience. She did not get to experience that growing up. So it's just wonderful. It's just very depictive, this picture.
Well, as Brave Maker, as the film festival named with the word brave in it, that's why it's a perfect story for us to share and to celebrate, because we believe, and I think you're all saying this too, we believe stories can change us, change the world. They can alter the way that we see the world, change us as humans, but they can also change systems. And that's really what I also see this film doing for the future, bettering those who have to endure what Michelle endured, but not have to endure alone and or without their basic needs of being able to speak in ASL and get interpretation while they're incarcerated, and all those different things that the film surface. So I'm going to encourage you, Brave Maker audiences, please go to our website, bravemaker.com, and get tickets to watch this film on Saturday, July 9th at 3 p.m. at the Century 20 Theater in Redwood City, California, on the big screen. And then stay after for a panel discussion. We always want to program a film that has a panel discussion after, because we believe film partnered with conversation is what can really open us up and open our minds and help us to take action. And I also love that you're creating those resources for follow-up, because again, the medium of storytelling, we watch a film, like then what? We want to do something about it. So I think that's so powerful. And you have a great website and a great presence online. So thank you that you said yes to coming to Redwood City. We're really excited to be able to share this film. Is there anything before we close our time? Is there anything you want to tell people who are maybe curious about documentaries? I still feel as if documentaries, they're gaining popularity. They're becoming more and more mainstream in the zeitgeist, but there are still people who are like, documentaries, talking head, no, thank you. What would you say to entice a person to come to a film festival, number one, to see a documentary, number two?
I would say you get the opportunity to hear Michelle's story. It's a true story, in her language, from her, and you get to meet her in person afterwards.
Is she going to be there?
Yes, Michelle's coming.
I didn't know that. Yes. I don't think I did. Maybe I didn't know that until now. That's amazing. I'm so excited.
Yes. And I would like to add too that every time I see the film, I feel impacted again and again and again. There are many emotions that will be felt, many things to think about. Seeing things through her eyes. Oh my goodness. Atin and Mae did an amazing job delivering her story for people to see it. You have to see it. You just have to see it.
Do not sleep on the tickets, y'all. There's only 200 and some tickets. So get on it. And 4 days of film festival, screenings, parties, panel discussions. We are continuing to release the schedule on our website. You can check it out from Thursday night, our opening night with Mama Bears, another amazing documentary about people rising up above the obstacles that have been put before them, to an outdoor documentary in the square of Redwood City called Alice Street, to narrative, feature, short film, animation. We also have some really cool people coming up from Los Angeles, TV showrunner Jeffrey Lieber, who just wrapped some time on Charmed on the CW, but also is the co-creator of Lost, as well as Angela Harvey, wrote on 100 episodes of Teen Wolf on MTV, and is currently working on some really cool things in inclusion and diversity in regards to writers in LA. Can't wait for you to meet them. There are workshops and meetups for actors, for filmmakers, screenwriters, and directors, all sorts of really cool things. We have some really great panel discussions on sexual assault in the educational athletic industry, as well as some really cool documentaries about what's happening in the food that we eat every day, and the people whose hands harvest that and bring them to our tables, and the untold stories of our farm workers in our country. So do not miss the Brave Maker Film Festival from July 7th through the 10th. All right. Well, it is time for the end of our show. And that is the segment that we call Brave Faves.
Brave Faves. TV shows, films, books, songs, technology, clothing, podcast, food, and more. These are a few of our favorite people, places, and things. Brave Faves.
All right, we'll start with Christina. What's your favorite thing of the week?
Wonderful. Looks like I made it back right on time. So we love storytelling. Stories change the world, especially brave, vulnerable stories. There's a great show on HBO Max that I've just discovered called The Shop. And some stars you may recognize: Snoop Dogg, Jon Stewart, Drake, Jimmy Kimmel, and Ice Cube are just some of the big names who step into barbershops across America to chat with LeBron James and Maverick Carter about sports, pop culture, world events, business, and much, much more. And I think it is spaces like these where you feel safe and we can open up and share stories like Michelle's and share stories like ours, what life is like in America being Black, being disabled, having autism, having a parent in prison, what that was like growing up in that way, life changing dramatically due to injury or accident or being incarcerated. So I think more spaces like these can help change the world. Let's continue to have conversations about gun reform and about violence, about how we can love and support all of us, but especially the most vulnerable among us who don't normally have a voice and aren't seen and aren't heard. So that's my brave fave, and I'll throw it over to you, Tony.
My brave fave is Barry on HBO Max. It is in its 3rd season. I loved season 1 and season 2 a ton. It's sort of this high concept TV show starring Bill Hader about a hitman who goes to acting school and decides he wants to give up killing people to be a hitman, to be an actor. And then hijinks ensue, and it takes place in LA. So I love LA industry stories, because I know what it feels like to be pitching things and going on auditions. So you've got that coupled with this organized crime comedy. It's really fun. And maybe season 3 is a little bit more on the dark, kind of sad side of the story for both the acting and for the guy who's trying to make good choices and deal with his own mental health. So Barry, HBO Max or HBO, I love it. Bill Hader is really great. And Henry Winkler is so great as the acting teacher. I love Henry Winkler. So good. All right, Dr. Mae, what do you have? What's your favorite thing of the week?
Honestly, I thought about one that I would love to share. Just in general, though, it's an app, which was crucial to our team that we use very often. And this is what I use on the daily to communicate with hearing people. It's called Cardzilla. And the Cardzilla app was developed by a deaf person, so check it out.
It's really cool. You can type something in, it's in big font, and you let someone read it, and then you shake your phone and it disappears. And then you can type again.
Cool. Cardzilla. So would Cardzilla be
and
something?
Then you can also speak to text too. So for people that are not able to text, you can speak to text, which is great.
So Cardzilla should be an app that for us brave makers, we should really be using when we all see you in person in July. Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Cardzilla. All right. We will do that.
Yes.
Atin, what about you?
Well, I'm looking for my next camera. So I know, I always try to find the camera is more compatible, especially as a filmmaker. And if I don't want to do everything, but if I can do a 1 or 2 person shoot for my next projects and stuff. So the revolution is started by it came a few months ago, but I'm doing a lot of research right now. It's a Dji Ronin 4D. It's a camera, so it's a gimbal plus camera.
Ooh.
So you don't need a tripod, you don't need a gimbal, because that's the biggest struggle as a camera person. I've been in a film and camera for like 15 years, and so I think this is a huge, because you don't have to have a tripod, you don't have to have anything, and there will be no shake and stuff, and it's easy to carry. And I'm all about quality, so I'm a quality freak, I call myself, because I feel like the idea, the people they have, a documentary can be shoot by anything or any camera. I'm against with that kind of camera. Yeah, sure, you can shoot an iPhone and for certain things you can use that, and especially COVID time, I understand Zoom and computer, but I do feel like there shouldn't be no compromise between fiction and non-fiction by quality,
Right.
Because the story doesn't have a famous celebrity inside, or doesn't have written by or produced by someone big, you go to cheap camera. No, I don't believe in that. So this camera, I think, is gonna make a revolution for us, for filmmakers, and I think it looks like it's beautiful. So
serve the story. So for all the people who love gear, what did you film being Michelle on?
We shot with the 2 camera, basically. There was always 2 camera, and I shot with the Allison, and she did she used the Sony A9 for the most of the, when we are doing in gimbal, anything is moving in action. And then I had my Panasonic EVA1 with my Canon cinema lens series I have. So they are all manual lenses because I love manually. I don't believe in auto. I'm old school still. I like the film cameras. So for me, it's like always wall that I don't want to create a trash. I want to create the beautiful images, and for me, I treat still the digital as a film. Because sooner or later it's gonna hurt you when your hard drive grows and everything grows, especially if you're shooting 4K. Even if you're doing proxy or whatever, it's still, we spend almost probably 50 terabyte on this film. Like terabyte, you're talking about
It's a lot of hard drive space. Yeah.
So, but we shot for 3.5 years, and but I think that that's the like you. I feel like when you shoot less, you are more happy, because the reason is you are not happy only, but you're making a rest of the people they're coming in the future on the board as editors or making everyone happy. Because
your editor, for sure. Sure.
And you memorize too. That's the other thing. If you shoot something that has meaning and has a power, that it's all here. It's recorded. So most of the times, even if I shot 17, 18, 20 terabyte of footage, sit down with the editor and they call me and I say, oh, you need to go this day, this. I don't have to look at because those are memories,
So as I'm listening to you talking, I'm just thinking there are so many people who want to get coffee with you when you come up to Redwood City. So to all of our filmmakers in the Bay Area who are coming to the Brave Maker Film Festival, there's so much time in the schedule to grab coffee at our sponsoring cafe Ciclismo, grab a cup of coffee and talk gear, talk shop with Atin. He's obviously got a lot of experience and knowledge to share, and I can't wait to see all the connections that come from this experience. Mae, what about you? What's your Brave fave?
I got off a meeting today with the guided campaign program with Looky Looky Pictures, and I just want to give a shout out to Looky Looky Pictures. If you're an independent filmmaker who's been on a long journey trying to get your film out, doing everything, Looky Looky Pictures has been an incredible support on brainstorming and thinking about and planning and implementing our social impact campaign. Awesome. Annie Mercedes is just amazing. And I've said before to Annie that her guided campaign program has probably been the greatest support we have received as independent documentary filmmakers in our 15 plus year of working together in this realm. So check it out, Looky Looky Pictures. Yeah.
So for clarification, they are doing not social media, or social media as well as impact, like your resources development, or what?
So it's a guided campaign program for a social impact campaign for your film.
Gotcha.
So, you have this powerful documentary, you've worked so hard to get it together. And then there's this whole next journey of figuring out how you're going to connect the film with the audiences that need to see it, with the audiences that can actually start making those changes that need to happen in the systems and in our society. And so Annie's just done an amazing job of putting together, she's a social impact producer herself. She's done an amazing job of putting together resources, and really just it's like, okay, start here and you follow this map, and then you get to meet weekly with other independent filmmakers who are also on their journey, and you have conversations, ask questions. It's just been incredible.
Incredible.
Love this. Yeah. Yes. Right on. Well, thank you so much to our friends from Being Michelle the Film. Please follow them at Being Michelle Film on Insta, and go to their website at beingmichelle.com to learn more about their film. Follow them on all their socials. And again, July 9th, Saturday at 3 p.m. in the Redwood City Century 20 Cinemark Theater. We will be there, panel discussions. And I think you're going to come up early. We're going to hang out. We're going to party. We're going to have fun. We're going to meet and schmooze and celebrate the power of film all around, the power of the deaf community and their stories that you get to tell. Really excited to have you. I'll do my ending with everybody on here. My huge thank you to our Brave Maker community for the support. I'm also going to thank Prince Street Partners, who are our presenting sponsor for the film festival. We cannot do it without our corporate sponsors, without our individual donors that give us everything from the gear to help us pay the rent in our studios, to allow us to get lodging and give our feature filmmakers a little bit of stipend, a little something, buy them some coffee while they're up here. We are filmmakers ourselves, and we know how hard it is to make a film. And that's why we made the Brave Maker Film Fest, so we could support independent filmmakers and their journeys, and hopefully see, 5-10 years from now. Remember that time we got together in Redwood City and all the stories that intersected, and now look at what we're doing. So thank you, Prince Street Partners, and we have Popcorn, that is one of our sponsors. We have Republic Metropolitan, that's one of our sponsors. We have others who are yet to confirm, but I know they're coming on, like the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative and others. So thank you, everybody who supports the Brave Maker Film Fest. You can go to our website at bravemaker.com/donate to become a sponsor today. You can also use your phone and just text the word Brave Maker to 44321. Text the word Brave Maker to 44321, and you can give a donation today. Become a monthly donor at $25 or $500. It helps us to do this work Christine and I love to do. And side note, you can also shop on Amazon. Just use the website smile.amazon.com when you're going to shop online, and they give us a kickback to support the film work we are doing today. Christina.
Yes, and we couldn't do the work that we're doing today without our amazing team. And we got to party with a few of them yesterday. We want to thank our live show producer, Amy Cohen, out of Austin, Texas.
She's in Austin, Dr. May. You two can connect.
Yeah. And our last guests were from Austin, too. It's about the Runaway Train. So a lot of beautiful creatives out there in Texas. We want to thank Carrie Alley, our social media manager, Barnell Amos, our podcast editor. They're both out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Emerson Morley, our Bay Area Brave Maker intern, and our newest intern, Sarah Agolia, who will be joining us for our film festival. We are so excited. Again, that is just July the 7th through the 11th. Please come out and join us.
And don't miss next week, where we have the filmmakers of our opening night film festival selection, Mama Bears, Darisha Kai, and one of her participants, Tammy, who is in the film. Mama Bears is about the 40,000 person strong group of parents who have decided to accept their children, go figure, and not reject them because of religious dogma. Their LGBT children have been maybe put aside because of traditional, conservative, religious things that have been taught that are antiquated and harmful and oppressive. But this group of moms and dads have risen up to say, we love our children, and we will stand up literally with any LGBTQ child and or adult who needs a parent in their life. And they have a wonderful documentary that we are going to show on July 7th in the Fox Theater in Redwood City, California, with so many cool guests. Christina will be facilitating that conversation. I'm excited to be a part of it too, and see all of you all, Mama and Papa Bears, come to Redwood City to celebrate. But we're going to talk to them in depth next week on the show live, 4 p.m. Pacific time. So don't miss it. All right. Thank you again to all of the amazing filmmakers. I am shaking my hands.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you. You are awesome. We are so grateful to do this work with you and partner with you and support you and celebrate you come July. It's going to be here before we know it. So thank you. We always end the show by saying these most important things that I know you all agree with is brave stories change the world.
And you are the story. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Don't go away. We want to take a picture with you.
Okay.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at bravemaker.org. Like, subscribe, and share. To become a monthly donor, text the word BraveMaker to 44321 or go to bravemaker.com/donate. Thanks for tuning in.